Introduction to filling out a Recore card. The term Recore is used when a resident loses or misplaces a key and the lock core needs to be replaced. This can happen for a few reasons, the most common being lost key, stolen key, or a non-returned backup key. Other reasons include failure to follow the student services policy that a resident may only take out a backup key to their space 3 times during a semester without a Recore. On the 4th time, the lock is recored. The reason we recore a door lock after the 4th backup key is taken out is due to the perceived lack of security posed by a missing or poorly managed key. There are rarely more immediate instances where an expedited Recore may be requested. This is usually based on a security concern and not commonly used, as it costs a large amount more to get a Recore done in 2 to 3 hours rather than the standard 3 days. In the following demonstration, you will see how to instruct a resident in filling out a Recore card. Once the resident has filled out their name, Spire ID number, hall information, and student email, cross-check with their Spire information. Be sure to also check off the type of room they reside in. To do this, go to Spire to look this up. You may also look this up in a key audit binder or on a floor plan roster. Another important piece of information will be the key code. The resident will not usually know this because they do not have their key to reference, and so it will be located on the backup key you issue them, as well as your internal listing of key codes. This is also the key code that is listed on their occupancy management panel in Spire. Once a backup key is returned to the desk by the resident, they need to fill out a second portion of the card. Be sure they do this, as this is the piece of the process that verifies they did indeed return the key, and if it ever comes into question, this protects them. Be sure that the CSA who received the key also initials in the correct staff use only space. Both CSAs should document the interactions. This is currently done in the program called Voice. A resident may take a backup key out for 24 hours each time. Failure to return a backup key within that time frame will result in a Recore for their room. It is a strict 24-hour policy to keep consistency throughout the residential service desks. Once a resident expresses that they have lost their key and do not expect to find it, a standard Recore must be processed for their room. The back side of the backup key card is designated for this purpose. It is paramount that the resident signs this portion and receives the information informing them of associated charges, as well as the Recore process and timeline. All of these Recores need to be documented as well, currently in the Voice program. When a resident has signed out their backup key 3 times and requests a 4th, policy states that it will be an automatic Recore for their lock and the resident should be scripted with this information. Be aware that this can cause some tensions. However, it is clearly stated in the residential service desk media, as well as whenever a resident comes in to check out a backup key in the form of a script. If an issue arises that escalates, they can be directed to the RSD coordinator or informed that there is an appeal process once the bill has been issued to their bursar's bill. However, this fee is legitimate and is rarely overturned. When a resident neglects to return a backup key within the 24-hour time limit, the card will be processed for a Recore. It is important to keep this strict 24-hour policy consistent throughout the residential service desks. Once a Recore card is requested by a CSA, only coordinators, RSDSS, or RHSMs can sign for processing. This is the requested by line on the back of the card. If you have any more questions about how to fill out a residential life backup key card, your RSC coordinator and residential service desk supervisors can be contacted.